Hi everyone, happy Halloween. It's kind of ironic because Halloween is all about bats, but this year bats are the reason we can't go or really shouldn't go trick-or-treating, right? So it's kind of ironic. I thought I'd talk about a few Halloweens in my past that have brought me some good memories. I think I was 11 years old, I had gone trick-or-treating. And when I got home, I wanted to see what would happen if I wolfed down all the candy in one sitting. There must have been pounds of candy. I mean, probably thousands of calories worth. And I wolfed it all down. I didn't feel good doing it, but you know what? Not long before Halloween, I had watched this competitive eater. I think he was a Japanese guy who had eaten 50 to 60 hot dogs, and I wanted to be like him for one day. I got very ill after that. I remember just feeling like my stomach was out of place, and then I vomited on the kitchen floor. And I tried to clean up the vomit, but in doing so, it made me even more disgusted, and I vomited even more. And I gave up and I went to sleep. And my parents were so upset, and they swore they would never let me go trick-or-treating again. But the following year I went anyway. It turns out when I was 16 years old, I quit eating sugar altogether. And then I switched to baking chocolate for Halloween. So when I was 17 years old, I challenged myself to eat. Well, I gave out baking chocolate to trick-or-treaters at our home. And later that night, one of the kids' mothers was very upset at me. She asked me what I had put in the candy. She mentioned that her son had ADHD, and she wanted to know what he had consumed. And I told him it was baking chocolate. And she was very irate, saying, "How could I do this to them?" Made them worry like all night about what her son had ingested. And I said, well, if your son has ADHD, maybe he should worry about all the other houses, because I think they're giving him poison. I'm probably the only house in the neighborhood who isn't giving him poison. I was being a little bit more defensive than I should have been, but I was really proud of the fact that I was eating healthy at this point. But the kid's mom took it the wrong way, and she got even more upset at that. I think at that point she realized I was telling her the truth, and she was upset at herself now. Anyway, so later that night I challenged myself to eat about 2 or 3 pounds of baking chocolate, and then I got very ill again. But this time I managed to make it outside before I vomited all over our front door. And ever since then, it's become a tradition for me every Halloween to wolf down a ton of baking chocolate, organic candy bars like nutrition bars, anything that Halloween themed, right? Maybe even some bat soup, right? If that thing didn't happen last year, I would have been doing bat soup at one point, right? I don't know why. It's just become a tradition. I just keep wanting to relive that memory of when I was 12 years old, right? And I'm going to change that this year and actually go on a 24-hour fast this year, because fasting has been the theme for me this year. I actually don't like Halloween, believe it or not. I think part of the reason the last few months of the year go by so fast is that because there's so many holidays, right? We got Halloween, we got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, maybe even Hanukkah, throw in some other religious holidays. And I love to view the night sky, and December 21st is the winter solstice, obviously, and then January 4 is when the Earth is furthest away from the sun, and or closest to the sun, and all those events jumbled into one just cause the rest of the year to fly by so fast, right? And I think Thanksgiving is very important. I think some of the religious holidays are important too, and certainly the space events are very important. If I had to choose one to get rid of, it would probably be Halloween. it just causes a year to go by so fast, right? Think about it. In your typical year, in January, you're making goals for the year, and you it might take you into March or April to get into the hang of it, right? Like this year, in January, I made it a New Year's resolution to normalize my relationship with food. It took me a few months to get the hang of it, right? And then we had to stay 6 feet apart, and that was an adjustment in its own right in terms of my New Year's resolution. And okay, and then the summer has its own theme to it, right? But the last couple, October, November, December, just fly by so fast, right? If I could get as much done during the last 3 months as I could get during any other 3 months of the year, right? It'd be nice, right? But I might as well enjoy it. And this year, I'm going to break that tradition of wanting to get myself sick every Halloween, right? Thanks for watching.